who will you become, like, up on that? And I even recommend, if you got a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, or I want to become a millionaire, and you aren't even 100,000-aire, then you need to start with, how do I become 100,000? A net worth of 100,000. Don't start at $1 million. I mean, you start at $1 million and you back down, but realize you don't know who you are or really what you have to be to become 500,000 net worth. So you kind of back it down, and then really the small activities is what is 100,000, and what does that do for you? I agree. Is who do you become? And really, I also don't really like monetary goals. What are you going to spend the money on? It's like $100,000 is sitting here. It's just pieces of paper on a table. And maybe saving it makes you feel warm and fuzzy. But I would tell you, from making a little more each year, that there's never enough that really says I'm completely taken care of, because there are bigger problems with bigger businesses.
Super glad you found the time.
Nice.
So first, let's go, I think, into like, how did you get here, right? So like a little bit of your story. How did you end up in real estate? Why? I know there's some family history too in it. So maybe you can take us through first.
Yeah, I had an aunt when I was like 12 tell me that I would be a good business owner. At 12, I remember specifically, I was at my cabin, and it was my Aunt Pam, and she said, I think you'd be a good business person. And I didn't really understand, what that meant. But I had a couple uncles that had businesses, and my dad was a realtor as well as my grandpa, but it didn't seem to be like a business, a storefront or something that I could take over. And so I ended up going and getting, I ultimately decided I thought I'd do international business. I love traveling. And so I have a business minor and a French major, which is about as useless as a degree as you can have in landlocked Idaho. But it got me a lot of experience. And when I just started, then I graduated here at BSU, and then I just had some, jobs that I was working my way up in kind of business. Okay. And then I fell into, I got fired, actually. I broke HIPAA when it first came out with my company. Kind of an accidental, but nonetheless, I broke it, and I was made an example of. And that was like...
And you broke what again?
HIPAA. That's the Privacy Act.
Right.
And it had just come out way back when. And that was the worst day of my life, but it actually, I look back at that, and that was the fork, because I would have never got into real estate otherwise. I went and I was working to be a manager at a landscaping company, and then I worked part-time because they didn't have full-time for a while until I could roll in. And so I started working part-time for my dad as his assistant.
Okay.
And that was in May of 2005. And in that 6 months before I was going to kind of start full-time on with the landscaping company, I figured out what real estate was and the opportunities. And so that's kind of how I landed in that space.
Okay.
And then I worked, I watched people do a lot of real estate in 2005, 6,
right, yeah,
7. I helped my dad, Ron, do the education of Group 1. Back then, it was before it merged with Sotheby's.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And so I administered. I was like the operations of the kind of university, the new agent university, and I administered that 12 or 13 times.
Nice.
So I was training, kind of administrating, watching, helping, and kind of involved in the training program.
Learning the back end of the business first.
Yep. And then my dad had me get licensed in the night. So I took night school and got licensed. And then, again, that's kind of just where I fell into the real estate. My dad left the company in 2007. And I think in 2008, I joined his company, his independent.
Right after or pre or during the crash?
It was
2008.
It was right as the crash was housing here. So I remember I joined him. There was a lot of I got engaged in June, and then I started his over at his brokerage. I left Group One, started over at his company as his assistant, but could also sell. And I remember taking a listing, and that whole summer we dropped it. And that was the first time in a long time that prices weren't jumping. And so it was the beginning of the market. September 15th, 2008, 2 days after I got married, the market crashed.
That's when it was like the official.
The bottom fell out. Like that was when the stocks all fell out. Half the country lost significant in the stocks that day. So it was right as I became an agent that the market crashed. So I knew no different other than observation for the last couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind though? You're like, I just figured out the real estate game by learning the back end for this period of time. And now that I feel like, okay, here I go, the thing crashes. Like what's going through your mind during that time?
I think ignorance. It was just ignorance is bliss. I didn't really know. My dad was pretty upset, but it was hard to me as a new realtor. It wasn't, I hadn't got it figured out and then it changed. It was just like, oh, this is what it is. And I had some early success. So I think my first week I took a sign call, which just came in. My dad was presenting an offer that morning on that property. And he said, you just go show this. And it was probably my second day working with him. And we walked through and they were like, looks good, write it up. Which I don't know if it's ever happened again in my career. Where it was that easy. And then they were like, oh, and we have a house to sell. Will you sell that too? And we're not going to make it contingent. We'll just pay cash.
Wow.
It was all around
Dream.
and like I was like, well, what do you want to offer? And they're like, full price sounds good. So I don't know. It was like the real estate god saying, this is for you. So I had some early wins that I think allowed me to push through. And then my dad did not want to do short sales. And that was really a majority of our market and only continued. And that was something I was good at too, is just being tenacious, collecting the docs, being in kind of control and forcing it through the process. So that's how I really grew my career.
That's great.
As the market was tanking, I just helped people get out of the difficult situation that a lot of us were in.
So did you see any other agents that maybe had also joined at about the same time that you did, or even that maybe were experienced that were giving into the panic of what was going on and like exiting left and right? And if you saw that, what made you hold it together and say, it's gonna be fine, like I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing? Like what made you not search for the same exit?
Yeah, I think, again, I joined in 2009, we joined Keller Williams, and it at that time was like everything that I needed. It gave me the business background that I already had from my degree, but yet showed me steps in this industry, how to implement it. We had the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, that helped me build. I mean, it had the models, and then it was, Keller Williams was pretty intense on lead generation. And even at Group One, we encouraged it. We talked about like ninja selling, which is high touch, but it wasn't so forced lead gen. And not that I don't love it, but yet connecting with people and doing it purposefully at a set hour versus just letting it happen organically.
Yeah,
just started building momentum. So I guess I saw people struggling, but I was still getting business. And then referrals, and then one referral can lead to 10 more pieces of business if you treat it well.
So very interesting, because instead of giving to the panic, you just decided to lock in and just keep doing what you're doing. And that's how you've come across a lot of the time to me also, since we've met. It's like you've kind of been this like very neutral, steady boat between the big waves. This is happening and people want to talk about it and make a huge thing. And then obviously there's always the other side, right, of that, talking about the opposite point. And anytime that we've had discussions about any big ideas or, politics kind of comes up as well, you've always really remained kind of like here. It's like, yeah, I see that, but like, what about this? And yeah, I see that, but you guys need to remember this. So that's a super cool quality that you have. And I think that's probably what helps you in coaching, right? Because you're also a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who give in, hard into like an emotion on one side or the other, like what's your biggest advice, if you will, for somebody to kind of stay neutral and not give in to those emotions?
Yeah, and I think that's a learned trait. I in my 20s was oftentimes what I'd call, I guess, impulsive, is allow my emotion to then make my next action. And I think NLP, so neuro linguistics programming, has allowed me, you can't control your first thought, but you can control your second. So I'm very quick and have built a habit around saying, is that really true, Alissa? Is that really true? Because to me, just like anything, like fitness or diet, any extremes really on either side never really lead to success.
Yeah.
I mean, you over-exercise, you're going to quit, right? And under-exercise, you're not going to be fit. So it's the same to me. What I've learned is, okay, that's a wild idea, and I'm not against wild ideas, but have we truly slowed down and figured out the plan? And really anything or anything that's, worth it is going to be a little bit of a harder challenge, obstacles,
Right.
and needs consistency.
For sure. There is something that I've been kind of wrestling with over the last couple of years as I become more aware, right, of like my thoughts and my emotional state and this and that. And one of those is, okay, I need to remain as almost emotional neutral, right, when you're responding to things so that you don't react to things. And when I first kind of started that, I wrestled with this idea of like, well, don't allow yourself to get too excited or like too happy about something, because that's just like a high point and you're going to come back to neutral, right? Or something can happen that's going to bring that emotion right back down. And so I kept wrestling with, am I robbing myself from not being able to fully feel the excitement because I have to kind of keep it in the lines and like, and I give in to the full, and and I give in.
I can't be too happy because this
Yeah,
lasts.
exactly. So that's something that at first I wrestled with, and being able to find that balance as you kind of go through it is pretty cool and it's interesting. But I think a lot of people say, okay, well, if you're gonna be emotionally, neutral, then you're not allowing yourself to either feel this or that. Like, are you just not allowed to feel anything then? You just have to be this like numb, kind of robotic person?
I feel things. Like if that way, I mean, I just think I don't react initially like a lot of us do. Is like, oh, I'm mad, or oh, I'm sad. I kind of have to reflect. Is like, and to me, this too shall pass. I agree there.
Yep.
Whether it's a worse day, because real estate has highs and lows, this too shall pass. And then also just, I think a lot of us entrepreneurs need to focus on being present. So like, this is a good time. Enjoy it. Yeah, it may not last, but let's enjoy it, because this is what brings me forward when it's tough.
Yeah.
Which is that, okay, this will pass too. And to me, also, happiness comes from growth. I love growth. I think even without a team, I grow because I want to continue to expand my bubble on my team and also to my coaching clients and provide more opportunities. So if I stop growing, I kind of limit that to those that I help lead.
Yeah.
And yet I have an insatiable, I think I'm just always looking for the next, what can make me a little sharper. I feel like I probably have a doctorate in real estate training of all different sorts that just kind of help push me forward. And that's what I get, I think, excited about or passionate about is what else don't I know? Incompetent competence or incompetent incompetence is what don't you know that you don't know, right? That's what I'm seeking for more, even if it's incompetence, competent.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I just don't know what I don't know. All those.
So kind of based on all this, like, what were the qualities that 12-year-old Alissa had that you said your uncle, my aunt saw in you to the point that she said, hey, like, you're gonna be good in business. Why not, like, hey, you're gonna be a good lawyer, or you should be a doctor, or right, the big careers as we call them, especially back then. You have to have a high degree to be like a person of importance, right? Like the engineer, the accountant, the doctor. But there's qualities at 12 years old that were like, you got to be a good business person? What do you think that?
Yeah, and I would tell you is I had several people say I could be a good attorney too, because I was fairly argumentative. Well, I just have always had an opinion, and I've been pretty self-assured. So I'm the firstborn. I also am in a family where I was also the oldest of several cousins and the only girl. And then all of my dad's side of the family is there was 4 brothers. So again, I was surrounded with a lot of boys and male energy. So I am highly competitive. And so I think naturally that also leads to some leadership. So I was with my cousins and around the family, very strong-willed, opinionated, and oftentimes kind of led. There was 4 of us initially while I was growing up that we all kind of hung out a lot together on weekends.
Yeah. Which one of those qualities have you had to hone in to assure the success that you've had?
For sure, my assertiveness.
The assertiveness?
Yeah. And what I think is a unique piece of my personality is I am fairly calm. So I am impatient and I do like to move fast, but yet when I look at my colleagues that are also doing similar jobs as me, they are a lot more impatient. And so I think that helps me rein back my assertiveness. But I mean, my assertiveness wants me to jump off the building without my pants on, let alone the wings built. And really, that's something I have to hold on and hold back because people get whiplash.
Yes.
Because I'll have to, self-correct real quickly if I just jump out without building.
So like very fast at making a decision, and just once you decided, it's like, okay, why are we waiting 5 more minutes to do this? So will you consider your partner a little bit of the opposite, where he's like, okay, let's slow down a little bit, and then is that kind of help have a balanced relationship?
And again, he's actually speedier than I.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And yet he's got significantly more details. So I am like a 2%er in conformity, meaning I'm anti-conform. So I will follow rules if they make sense long term, but I have a hard time even then being in kind of this structure. Josh, my partner, has a significant amount of details, which allows him to build. So the more I stay out of the details, the faster we can go, because I just get bogged down and not that great at those. So that's what Josh possesses.
And those are operations.
He is really good, yeah, but he's very fast moving, but he is a lot more process oriented, where I'm more visionary. Like I can see it, I just have zero idea where to go, and I just start trudging out there.
Okay. Yeah.
He'll be more calculated and look for evidence,
Yeah.
which does tamper us. I mean, we are a really good yin to the yang.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. So having the right people in your team, you have approximately, what was it, 14 agents now?
So we have 16 agents,
16 now?
17 actually on Friday. We added
Oh,
another one.
Okay, there you go.
And then we have 3 staff, a marketing, a transaction coordinator, and then Josh, my operations. And then we have a VA as well. So 4 staff.
But hold on, because realtors are just supposed to just show homes. So what do you mean you have a business of 17 people with 3 staff? So maybe I think a lot of people are not aware that being a realtor is more than just like making reels and showing a home, right? And you were also, like you said, kind of deep in the operations part when you worked with your dad when you started. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit into like the fact that there's really no difference between a realtor and a business person, right? And it's the people that actually treat their realtor career as a business that actually succeed, versus the people who think that they're just doing it for the quick, bigger money and nobody to have to answer to, right? Or no schedule to follow except their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's different perspectives. So as a solo agent, there's nothing wrong with that. Just you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant, right?
Yep.
And where we're employee, right? W-2. And then we go to basically a 1099 or an independent contractor. And that's what you are unless you start to move towards the business owner. So an independent contractor, the difference between a business owner and an independent contractor is we do it versus they do it. right? Which means that if you left your business for 6 months, it would be equal or greater. And most agents can't leave their business for 6 months or their business will be down, right? I have agents that sometimes take the summer off and it takes them 6 months to get back into the game because the lag time between relationships and lead generation to closings can be that long. So to me, what I've realized in my 20 years in the business is that I love the support, coaching, and consulting. So I love kitchen table appointments with buyers and sellers and just listening to a challenge and then, creatively finding a way to bridge that gap. And I realized through the process, because I've personally sold over 2,000 homes, that if the bigger your business goes, the smaller your focus, and you can really focus in on what you're good at. So I quickly shifted within probably the first, 2012, when I hired my first buyer's agent, Tara, is I immediately gave all my buyers away because I realized if I specialized on the sellers, we could do more together and she gets all the buyers. And then that just led to, okay, what am I good at? And then how can I give away all these other jobs? And I think a lot of agents sometimes are, to their detriment, they're too good at all the jobs and they don't want to give them away. And to me, there's, a $20 an hour job, a $50 an hour job, and a $500 an hour job. And so how can I stay in those higher end jobs and allow opportunities for those to do those other things?
Yeah.
So that's really, and then having agents, I realized I love pouring in long term. So a seller I get to sit down with, hopefully what most of our sellers want to sell in the first 30 or 45 days. So I get to work with them for maybe 2 months, 90 days, and then, we go off on our separate journeys in life and maybe touch base once, twice a year, honestly connecting. And so I just have figured out I love that portion of helping my agents and my team get what they want.
Yeah. Awesome. How have you noticed how much this lead generation game has changed? So for example, I was listening I'm on a daily call at 9 a.m. and one of those agents, who's also been in the game for a little while, shared how he used to make a post on Craigslist right back then, and that he was getting like 1,400 plus leads, a month or something like that. Now you go post on Craigslist, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna
Craigslist.
Right, exactly. So like, I have noticed that obviously the lead generation game has changed dramatically. I feel like it's more competitive, especially with social media. Right now, everybody has a platform and it's just like everybody's doing almost the same thing and the same type of reels, and the cinematography on houses just gets crazier and crazier, right? They're becoming Netflix documentaries almost.
They are.
So like, what are you doing to differentiate, or what are your, without giving away the farm, if you will, right? Some of your tactics on how you're lead generating these days, and what's so important about lead generation, or what's the most important aspect of the lead generation for you?
Yeah, let's start with that last question. What's the most important? Is, to me, making connections. So again, I have 16 agents, and I would tell you those 16 agents in general do lead generation probably 16 different ways. And I would tell you we are 79% sphere of influence, which means that somehow you know them throughout other, areas of your life. And then we just pour love on them. So I don't know if you're going to like this answer. We'll talk about social media because there's like ancillary things, but the fact is you have to have relationships with people.
Yeah.
I even look at who I would call social media stars in our market, and I would tell you that if we truly dug deep in their business, that's not like they're getting 50 closings out of social media, unless they're a bigger team. Most, even again, the people that I can think of, they're doing a healthy business with that, but they're spending hours and hours, and people don't understand like the iceberg that a true social media star has. And what they're doing is also they're building relationships online.
Right.
They're posting so much and pouring their own authenticity, whatever that is, of value. And you can do that on social media or the good old days just through relationships. And so, I'm not good at social media. I love to stalk it and look at it, but I'm not good. So I've actually hired somebody to help me put that in, because I think social media is a requirement these days. You need to be online. But unless you love that portion, I would be one to say, what else do you love that you can get in relationship with 200 people? Because that will give you plenty of business if you just nurtured those 200 people and took note of what they're doing and participated.
Became a part of their
Yeah, not even
life.
just day to day, but like, they're out. We all have kind of outer circles, and how can you add value
Right.
to the challenges that they're coming against?
For sure. Yeah.
To me, it's calls, texts, or DMs, however people communicate these days, but one-on-one conversations have to be had regardless of just the posting. And again, unless you want to be a YouTube star or a social media influencer, which just means you're going to have to dedicate significantly more hours than the average bear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, social media is an interesting animal, because, what you see is actually real life, right? Like you mentioned, there's some like stars or big influencers, but are they really doing that much, And so it's interesting to me. It's like, I mean, they have to do a good amount of business to afford like some of the cinematography that they're also doing in these listings, right? So do you think that more complex videos of a home is what really attracts people?
For what purpose?
On social media, to like get leads, to get new, to get like, oh my gosh, I want this video of my house when I sell it.
I mean, I'm going to say, yeah, occasionally that may happen, but so does like Zillow and so does homes.com. I mean, I got a stranger call me this year off my homes.com, and they called and said, I like what you've done. I've looked at your numbers. And so, yeah, there's always, but if you're looking at like, okay, where's my business the last year? Where did it come from? If it isn't, there isn't a significant 1, 2, or 3 in social media, I don't think that those images over time, you're building a brand.
Yep.
And the brand is not just social media. It's going to be the outreach you do in the community, the referrals. Then they go check you on social media when they come about you in some other way. But I don't necessarily feel like it's just going to pop up on your feed one day and you'd be like, that's the realtor I want. Because it's really hard to differentiate. There are quite a few realtors that use all of the different imaging. So I think you need to be up there. But I don't know if you're going to be selected as an agent unless you're doing some very strategic things and posting enough times per day, which again creates, you got a time block to create, film, and then post, which is again more than, I mean, I'd say the average agent wants to spend 20, 30 minutes and something to do that. I'm seeing and coaching agents that are doing it 4 or 5 hours a day.
Ooh.
So to me, I personally would rather make some calls for a couple hours than video everywhere I go. And again, it's not that's worse. It's just, what do you want to do? And make sure you understand what's underneath the success is a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
All those social media stars spend a lot of time and focused energy on it.
For sure. What would you tell somebody who wants to get into real estate? Like, what do you think is like the most important thing for them to focus on?
The most important thing. So there would be their reason why they want to get in real estate. What a lot of people tell me, they want freedom and flexibility. And if you're a top realtor, you need to create that, because it's a 365. It's 24 hours a day if you allowed it. So you being your own boss is amazing. And I love it. And you have to have a lot of commitment. And then for the first 2 years, honestly, you're going to feel very salesy. You've got to get out and people got to know who you are. So you got to double down the first couple years and not expect this wild success and keep going.
Yeah.
So you said push through the hard times, because one of my themes was the sun will come out tomorrow. Because real estate is this up and down.
Yep.
What you do today affects your income 90 to 120 days from now. So you have to have delayed gratification.
For sure. Yeah, agreed. Would you say, I mean, it's my observation that a lot of the people that join the business, from what you learn in real estate school or even like in the loan officer school, right, for the licensing, the one thing that they don't teach is how to actually do the job, right? It's just a bunch of like laws and ethics stuff that you have to go through. But what it actually looks like, the lead generation, the time scheduling, the hey, your taxes have to be filed like differently now. You're business owner, get a CPA, don't spend all your money, like all of these things. One of the main ideas there is, I think a lot of these guys need to get coaching right off the bat. But how can you get coaching if you're not making any money yet? So do you suggest for new agents to maybe join a team that can provide that support, that coaching, that operations kind of system so that they can really just focus on the relationship building? Or do you feel like there's still a way to succeed just doing it solo?
Yeah, both. I mean, it really is. What are you looking for? Like, teams are not for everybody, and people want to do solo, and it can be really lonely. So although you're dealing with people, you are the janitor, the CEO, and the administrator when you're solo. So it depends on what do you want to do and what's your long-term vision. So if you just want to sell 4 to 6 homes, you should not join a team. But you should join, to me, a group or a brokerage that provides a lot of support for when you do want to write those. Because the 10 units and under are really the highest liability time because you just don't know what you don't know. And so you can misstep even, just ignorantly not knowing.
Yep.
So getting a mentor, which a lot of brokerages offer, or having a friend in the business, but yes, some sort of support. And I do agree is like they don't teach you any business. And certainly, again, as a new agent, what I'd recommend is you got to go talk to people. This is a contact sport. I tell people all the time, I can teach you skills, but it takes will to set appointments. It takes skill to convert them. And I'm not going to teach you skill till I know you have will. So having the drive to go find 20 people that want to buy or sell most people's largest investment,
right,
their lives, takes tenacious commitment to go get them.
For sure.
And so that's the most challenging to me part of real estate is there's people around in the industry that I think love to give back and I'd call anybody from any brokerage or talk to me and tell them how to structure an offer. That can be taught, but really going and find people and then making sure that you thoroughly represent them.
That's key. So on that topic, what kind of realtors, what kind of teammates are you hiring, right? So for example, if you have agent A and agent B come to you for an interview and agent A says, oh yeah, no, I just want to be here and I just want to join the team for life and just kind of sit and park here. And agent B says, well, I'm honestly trying to use your team as a stepping stool so that I can really learn the ins and outs of the real estate under, guidance from somebody like you. And eventually I want to go and build my own brand. Like, which one do you prefer to have?
Well, again, I need to ask more questions of both. Is like, I love lifelong loyalty. And if they're just sitting there to park, I'm not like, I want to help somebody grow to have their life by design, which may not be more real estate. It may be more time or controlling your time, which I'm all for that. So, I mean, so necessarily neither or both. And that other person, all of that, I now support under my own brand. So my own brand is really less important. And so anybody on my team at a certain production level where it actually starts to make sense, my brand needs to not be on there. So I would challenge that person. Yeah, let's come on. And if we could support you and actually show you how to build a business underneath my brand and it be a win-win, is that something you'd consider?
Okay.
Because I do want to help people long term.
Yeah.
And again, the conversations get more fun when we get kind of in our area, when we get past 10, 15 million, the conversation now becomes, how do we have a better quality of life how do we raise the price point?
Yeah.
Or how do we start investing the extra funds that we are creating by the business we're doing at that level, and really creating a business? And then also, how do we create more now, something that can sustain without you, and move towards owning a business even I don't own in that cash flow quadrant yet. I can't leave for 6 months,
Right.
but I can leave easily for a month or two, and I think it would still be functioning. Right. So I'm working towards that. So how can you, that human on my team, what is their life, their ultimate journey, North Star, and how can I help you do that?
How do we structure it inside?
And yeah, how do I add enough value so you don't feel like you got to start again from scratch and rebuild? And if that's what they want to do as well, I'm good with that. I probably have 20, 25 agents that are still in the business that started from my team in the last 20 years, that I gave them a good foundation and they realized their journey was a little different. And as long as you believe with integrity and ethics, I will support you 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, integrity and character is, I think, one of the main key things to look for, right? Because skill you can teach, and then capacity you can help. So by character, if you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
So
culture is our number one thing. That is the thing that I will not take you, is culture, wrong culture fit.
For sure. Yeah. Culture is just so important to maintain. Now, I know you coach a lot of people, and you've been coaching for quite a while now. How many years now coaching?
I think we're going on 12 years.
12 years. Okay. So in those 12 years, have you seen like maybe a top 3 or top 2 or just one main common theme in all the people that you've coached that is like tends to be the number one factor that holds them back?
Well, that holds them back.
Yes.
I was going to say you deceived me a bit with your question. So the one thing that I would tell you came to mind that I see is consistency, that is success. It's like whatever we're doing, we're consistent and not perfect. Again, it's not like I do it every single time 100%, but they're doing it 80% or greater. That they're doing whatever the activity that's helping them get where they go. They consistently do it versus, I did 8 hours this day and I haven't done it for 2 months. The thing that I think is the biggest failure is pretty much the opposite, is not committing to one thing over long term. It's a new shiny object every week or every 2 weeks. And when, I'm not the coach for you if you want to switch and be like, let's not talk about what we did last week or the results. Let's talk about what we can do this week. And it's I'm really a layering foundational. And if like, say, you want to make 20 connects a week or 10 connects a week and you're making 5, we're not going to probably leave that topic until you can figure out how to make those 5, because we can build all the other systems. But if you're not going to figure out how to either leverage or connect with those 10, all the marketing in the world may not change the result. And so I'm just that's the thing, is consistency ultimately.
What's holding people back from being able to stay consistent? Like, what do you think is like the number one thing like that blocks them from being consistent? And like you said, being able to talk about what went wrong, right? Because it's not a system that went wrong. It's something internally that was not allowing them to do it, right? So like, what is that mental block that you've noticed kind of like across the board that it's like, once you do this, you're going to be great. So how do we get you past this so you can stay consistent?
I mean, that's you're in the fitness, so how do you get somebody to consistently go to the gym? We always judge ourselves by our intentions. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, the kid's not well. Or, oh, I've got this big project due. And we judge others by their actions. Like, oh, you're late, you didn't value my time. Versus when I'm late, oh, well, I had these reasons. So ultimately, I would agree is that they're not choosing commitment. They're often choosing their feelings and their motivation. And motivation can be fleeting.
It is. Commitment
is about long-term vision, which I think that's maybe why I'm good at it, is I can see the vision if I just stick with the activities. So it is oftentimes people just, things come up, whether it be ADHD or they just say, Procrastination is a big thing in our society. Is I'll do that tomorrow. I don't feel like it. And I mean, I oftentimes don't feel like going to the gym, and I get my booty up at 5:30.
Yeah.
And never regret it afterwards. But even when I'm in the gym before, I'm sometimes like, I'd really like to be in bed right now. But I committed, so I go.
Yeah, for sure. I heard the I read a little thing. It was on social media not too long ago. Something about procrastination, and it was like procrastination is we procrastinate because we are dreading the work that it's going to get get the job done. And so the way to get rid of procrastination is you don't worry about that. Just keep your focus on the end result. What is the end result that you want? And then just kind of work towards that, getting that end result type of thing.
When you got to decide, do you really want that thing? A lot of people say, I want that thing. And when it comes down to it, they really don't. Like, again, as I can say I want a 6-pack, and I'm going to guarantee you there is no amount of, I mean, if it was easy, I would. But no, thank you. I'm in just a shoes. No 6-pack for me. That's not the journey.
Yeah.
Because my actions would have to significantly change if that's what I wanted. So are you sure you want a team, or are you sure you want to do 50 units? Because your life doesn't look the same, and your choices and your habits aren't the same if you're going to do 20 units versus 50.
Yeah.
So you have to really choose, do I really want what it looks like, or do I want what they have? And you're not willing to be or do how you have to be in order to get there.
Yeah.
And that's really I don't think a lot of people choose, do I really want to be that person? They just look at somebody with envy and say, oh, I can do that too. And they can. They're just not willing to make the sacrifices in who they have to be.
Yeah. So do you know Chase Hughes? Mm-mm. So Chase Hughes is like a behavioral expert, I guess. And he's been in quite a few podcasts, and he says something about goal setting. He has his own way of goal setting, right? So most people are like, okay, like write the things that you actually want to get done. And he actually takes it a step further into, okay, write what is the big vision goal, right? From like 5 years from now, for example, and write it down. And now, instead of just talking about like what steps you need to do, right? Like, okay, that means I need to go to the gym 3 times a week. That means I need to, it's like, okay, describe the type of person that is required to achieve that goal. And then analyze yourself brutally and say, do I have any of these qualities? And if not, then what will happen if I do not acquire these qualities in order to achieve this goal? Like where am I heading if I don't? And then what would happen if I actually do? And so he really focuses more on like the becoming, so that you can have whatever, right? So he really, like, his main focus is not just like the goal and like your steps to get, is okay, what is the type of person that's going to be required to get to that goal? And then how do you become that person?
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we do something similar. Is like I coach with a company, and it's about your unreal life. And that top sector, very similar to his, is who will you become? Like up on that. And I even recommend, if you got a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, or I want to become a millionaire, and you aren't even 100,000-aire, then you need to start with, how do I become 100,000? A net worth of 100,000. Don't start at $1 million. I mean, you start at $1 million and you back down, but realize you don't know who you are or really what you have to be to become 500,000 net worth. So you kind of back it down, and then really the small activities is what is 100,000, and what does that do for you? I agree. Is who do you become? And really, I also don't really like monetary goals. What are you going to spend the money on? It's like $100,000 is sitting here. It's just pieces of paper on a table. And maybe saving it makes you feel warm and fuzzy, but I would tell you from making a little more each year that there's never enough that really says I'm completely taken care of, because there are bigger problems with bigger businesses. So it really, to me, is just assigning, like, you guys are building a house. You got a really clear-cut goal and income that you got to make.
Yep.
And it makes it, to me, a lot more easy and clear when things get a little rough. I'm doing it for that. Yep. Like, I'm in contract with land around where I want to retire. And it's a big amount. And like every day I wake up with that this is what I'm doing it for. So I had another agent who really wanted a Tesla. And like, as soon as he put that goal versus I want to make $100,000 in front of him, he went and got it. So when you attach something that this is what it's going to buy me, because money is nothing. It's what will money do for you, and support those around you.
Yeah, so I know you guys do also like the exercise where you tell people, okay, you have $1,000 to spend it.
Financial thermostat.
Yeah, the financial thermostat. And that is such a cool activity. Maybe I'll let you elaborate on it and the reason behind why you do it.
Yeah, we all have financial thermostats where it's like, this number is just out of this world. I don't even know what I'd do with that money. But you start with like $1,000 and you need to spend it like that. Most of us should be able to spend $1,000. Then you double it and you double it again. So it's $2,000, $4,000, $8,000. And very quickly, within about 15 days, you're above $1 million. And now you start being like, how do I spend $15,000? It was a Brewster's Millions. There was that 80s show where you had to spend it all. And any money left, you had to give it all back. But that's what it is every day you could do this for 30 days, and really is the law. If you can't spend 15 million in a day, that your thermostat is below that. Not just, and again, it just makes you and you can only save once. So you can't just keep putting it in a bank account.
Right.
You can only pay off debt once. So you can't keep paying off debt. And at some point you would hope
you run out of debt.
You run out of debt.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking, what I'll tell you through the exercise, ultimately at a certain amount, you start giving to others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what money is about. Most people in the United States, 500,000 is the number that above that, if you're not giving back, it's just bigger houses, bigger cars, more lavish vacations, more, luxury items. You can live a very fulfilled life at 500,000 in our society in general right now. And so beyond that, it starts to be like, how can I give back to society?
Yeah.
And that ultimately gets really freeing and passionate as how, real estate helps people, but now if you just had money to help fund other things and give back, you can help so many more.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think contribution, like Tony Robbins says it, right? Like the 6 basic human needs, contribution is kind of like what we're all trying to get to. So I think that exercise, I think what it also exposes is once you have all of what you think are your wants, right? From the material side of things, and that's all covered, and you realize, okay, I have all of this, like, okay, so now what? It really exposes what you actually truly want. And the way in which you want to show up for that contribution, right? So that's a pretty cool exercise. My son did it, Kaysen, right? At that mastermind that you guys hosted, and he was like, "Oh, I just realized it's just kind of paper. Like, what do I actually really do? What do I actually really want? So it started to open up his mind to that type of thought, which is super awesome. And then what do you think, switching it up a little bit now, just moving forward, what do you see our industry going, especially with implementation of AI, crypto, all of these type of things that we've never seen before per se? Where do you see business going? What kind of changes are you maybe making in your team to prepare for that?
Yeah, I think we're utilizing AI at probably a surface level, and we're further investigating that as this speeds up, is really watching. I've been going to several masterminds, and we're going to be utilizing some of the, assistant AI stuff that can help us with some of our tasks to be more efficient. And that's really where I see AI is I believe that relationship always has been and has continued even through social media to be a relationship game. And so let me be clear, if you don't adapt AI, you're going to go behind because it's an efficiency. But I do not believe that the human part of real estate is going to go away. The computer cannot analyze the intangibles of a house. They can analyze all the data and tell us all of that. But then there's this complicated part in business called humans, people. Mm-hmm. All business would be so easy if humans weren't involved. And there's that human factor that I don't believe is going to be taken out. Moving is in the top 5 of stressors in life. And so it's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that I want to use AI to kind of help me be more efficient and give my clients all of the data they need to make a good decision. But I still feel my counseling and experience is going to be a invaluable part to the transaction that isn't just going to be wiped away. Now, if you're not relationship in business and you're just getting leads, I think it is going to be harder.
Yep.
That
Like if you're purchasing leads off of websites and stuff. Yeah.
is like, I think consumers and the way that things are going are going to be condensed in more central sauce. And then you can't fake certain things like experience and all of that.
Yeah.
But if if you use it to maximize your efficiency and your client's knowledge, that's what we anticipate, at least over the next year.
Yeah.
And we'll see how things go, because robots are coming, I hear, and I don't know how that's going to be integrated. I mean, that's where you say politically is I'm just more neutral, because like, to me, we could freak out and think the world's ending with robots coming, or we could be all in on that and real estate's. I mean, it's just right now for the next year, I feel very confident where we're going.
Good.
And supporting agents. Like, that's really what my team is about, is supporting agents in production and getting out of the friction that is involved in the business so they can be passionate.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome.
Let's not go too extreme, too far.
Right. Yeah. Not yet.
Stay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Also, you're not just coaching realtors, right? You can coach anybody at any level of life, any entrepreneur, or even just like W2, right? That just wants a better life also. So are you taking any new coaching clients? Or
I do have room for 2 more. So I do have a pretty tight schedule, but I do have 2 more. And I have several agents and then 2 different just business owners, because real estate and any other business is about 80% the same.
Mhm.
Then you've got that 20% industry difference. Otherwise, the fundamentals, the business planning, all of that, the P&L are very similar. So it's just getting those foundational pieces to be most efficient and more profitable.
Got it. One last question.
Yeah.
Is there any book that you're currently reading or that you read recently that had a big impact in or expose a new idea that you need to share?
Yeah, I think I do read a few books. I am not obsessive. Like, I want to be clear, because a lot of people ask me what books you're reading. And to me, a book, specifically one that is going to be like a business book, informational, really needs to be, what does your business need? And then go find the best book for that. So when I say this is I'm in the people business, and the most impactful book for me has been The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen. I can't remember. I think her last name starts with a B. But The 4 Tendencies. And I'm a big personality, because from coaching, I mean, I love to know what makes somebody tick, because we can all adapt and be, whoever we want to be. But over time, it will wear thin and not be fun. So really understanding what makes people tick helps me. And those 4 tendencies, I know all these different personality assessments, and the 4 tendency kind of overlays on all of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about it, is it's not just another lion, sheep, or the different owl, tiger, whatever, or DISC, with the disc. Or I use the Vulture Index is my favorite personality. But the 4 tendencies is about, you can be any one of the personalities, DISC or anything, and have any one of the 4
the underlying tendencies.
Which is
Question.
an upholder. Yeah, I'm a questioner too.
Yep.
I'm a questioner rebel.
Okay.
Questioner, rebel, upholder, and obliger.
Right.
And that really gives your tendency on how you make decisions, and really putting the tools in place, if you know who you are, in order to keep moving forward.
Got it. Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah, I read it, and definitely helps you kind of interact with more people in a more appropriate way. So you understand where they're coming.
People always ask. You always got to ask all the questions. But I mean, that is, I just want to know why, and then I'll proceed.
Yeah.
If I don't know why, I might rebel.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that, I sometimes have to tell people, I just need to ask a lot of questions so I understand, and then I will move forward rather obediently.
Yes. And also the cool thing about that book too is like it kind of shows you how to word things the appropriate way, so that each tendency can be open to that feedback or open to doing it. The most I read it too, especially because I felt like I had a teenager that was in the rebel stage. I don't know if I don't know if it's like his permanent tendency, but he was definitely there. So I'm like, how do I communicate with this guy?
Did you have him take it?
Yeah, he took the quiz.
And he was a rebel?
Yeah.
Okay. My husband is a obliger rebel. My brother is a rebel who worked for me, and my dad is a rebel.
Oh
So,
boy.
yeah, it's like, well, and funny enough, is rebels can actually be manipulated the easiest of all of them.
Really?
You have to tell them.
Have to make sure that it's their
You
idea.
certainly don't want to do that.
Yeah,
And that-
yeah. It's like you have to present it like as a challenge.
Yeah.
I bet you.
And they're like, it says that in the book that the rebel can actually be the manipulated because they are so against. I'm not going to do what you tell me. I might even shoot myself in the foot because I don't want to be controlled.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
And knowing that though may help you in like, okay, here's where I'm going to find my passion zone.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alissa. I appreciate you. I know you got to get back to the business, so hopefully we'll do another series soon.
Okay.
I would love to see where you're at, a year from now, and how much bigger your team is at that point, or smaller. Sometimes growth means kind of reining back too.
The right humans. That's what we're looking for.
So awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate you.